Today on Bear Reviews, things that you may or may not buy. The Milwaukee Press and Flip Utility Knife package at the depots, the Home Depot, Casa del Potato. This is a 2-pack, and I love these knives, and so I'm gonna open them up so I can put them into service. And I figured I would bring you all along for the ride. So the Milwaukee Utility Knife, here we go. So here we have the Milwaukee, which is Native American for city over there in the north central United States. This is a razor knife. This is also a razor knife. I have zero experience with this one, but this one I have owned several of, and I in fact recently lost one. And so I'm very happy to see one of these appear again. This was gifted to me, so I don't know what the price was on this, but usually the 2-pack runs about $25-ish. And as you can see, it came with 50 general purpose utility blades, which is good. Why would you have one of these when you could have one of these? Well, this thing's cool, and it's 30 bucks at adventurefrontier.com. No, I don't get paid to tell you that. Spyderco bird. But this is a great knife, but you could probably trash it doing what you would do with one of these, which is why, generally speaking, I have a razor knife or utility knife on me. So I can preserve the cutting edge of my EDC knives in case I have to get super ultra tactical like Benicio del Toro and start fighting people in a late 90s action film. I have a good stabby knife to do that with. So let's go ahead and open this up. And perfect. Generally speaking, you need a chainsaw to get into one of these packages. So let's see what we can do here. And blah blah blah. We'll go over here as well. There is a review on this knife at the channel, by the way, if you're at all interested. And so here we have some utility blades. That's pretty cool. You press the little thing, do the slidey thing, and a blade comes out. Does not go all the way back in, so that's something to look out for. But 50 blades is 50 blades, man. Like, you know, this is anywhere between 20 and, well, say $15 to $25 for 50 blades at the depots. So there's 50 blades. These did not come with blades in them, but here's why I love this knife. Okay, most utility knives require that you have 2 hands to open and close them. By the way, right here, you see right here, you depress that little tab, slide the blade in, good to go. What is this for? Well, you can use it for stripping wire, as a strap cutter, which, by the way, built-in strap cutter, which is another reason to have one of these on you. Yes, you can see right there, it's a built-in strap cutter. This is a significantly sized utility knife. I mean, there's it next to the Spyderco. So as you can see, it's not a tiny little thing, and it's not light. They're about the same weight. So I don't have a scale. I'm not that fancy, but good pocket clip. No, it's not reversible, but the cool thing is, if it ever gets bent, you can get in here with a little tiny Torx bit, undo this, reprofile the spring steel clip, which I've done a few times, and then put it back together again. This screw right here adjusts the tension. Same thing here. You want it low enough that you can do this with it. This is why I love this knife, because when I need it, I can come out of pocket, press the button, and just flip it open, do whatever cutting I have to do. You know, maybe I'm fighting a group of ninjas, or cutting up a bunch of cardboard or whatever, and then when I'm done, just depress the button, another flick, back into the pocket. So this is a tremendous knife. Believe me, it is the best utility knife I've found. I love it for that alone. Is that alone worth $15 or $20 for this? To me, yes, because the hassle of having to, for example, even this knife, I can open it one-handed, but closing it one-handed, I mean, I can do it, but the preferred method for closing this knife is to depress the locking mechanism, then close it with two hands, because this thing's wicked sharp, and I don't want my fingies in here, as my 2-year-old calls them, my little fingies in here while that blade is closing. That's a good way to need stitches, or at least some super glue. So this one is the traditional one. It's one that I have much experience with. I love it. I use it all the time, and there are multiple of these in our household. This one I've never seen before. So it's a kind of a smaller, slicker version of the traditional one. There's no choil here, which actually the choil is pretty nice for a utility knife to have a choil. So this one has a choil, this one doesn't. This one has the wire stripper, this one doesn't. This one has the strap cutter function, this one doesn't. But this one is definitely smaller and lighter. Let's go ahead and put a blade in this thing. Come over here, pop this back, pop that forward, and it doesn't want to do it. Perfect. There we go. Fabulous. Tremendous. Believe me, believe me. All right, so the tab is on this side, which is kind of weird. Slide that in. It clicks in place audibly. Different belt loop on this one as well, but still with a screw so that you can remove this and reprofile the clip if it gets bent out of shape, which is highly recommended. Sometimes you can just take 2 pairs of pliers and just tweak it and bend it back in place. And again, a tension screw. But this one is much smaller and significantly lighter. Can y'all see that? There we go. Width-wise, see the difference in width as well. And then obviously length on this one with this, I dare say, upgraded clip on it. So I could see this one being very useful to have around for just general utility tasks. Throw it in your tool bag or whatever on a piece of kit, whatever you may have. And yeah, not bad. You know, full liner on this one because it has plastic scales. This is aluminum, so there's no liners in these because or magnesium, or it's probably actually magnesium. I don't know if it's aluminum, but this is metal, probably cast. Yeah, let's say cast for sure. It looks cast, doesn't it? Probably cast magnesium. Whereas this is plastic, but you can see it's got some steel, you know, mystery steel. Yeah, but it's got some steel liners in it to reinforce it, make it more rigid, and give it some structural integrity there. But it still opens one-handed, and it's smaller and lighter than this one. So which one would I EDC? I would EDC this one for sure because I know it and I love it. I mean, just look at that. That's awesome. And the strap cutter function, that's a big plus, especially you .mil guys. I don't know if this would pass as a strap cutter, but it certainly works as a strap cutter, so that's something to consider. And this would fit in like a pistol magazine pouch for sure. So if you had to, as part of your SOP, if you had to carry a strap cutter, you might talk to command and say, hey man, does this cut it? And they may say, yeah, I like that. And then you also have, in addition to that goofy little strap cutter, an actual functional razor knife and a wire stripper as well. So this one, it's a good little general use razor knife. It's, you know, how does it sit in the hand? Well, and it is kind of swept here. I wouldn't say undercut. It's certainly not a choil, but it is kind of swept. No jimping whatsoever here, but do you need jimping? It's ramped. I mean, you see how that does that. So you can get, look at that. Like, you can get some purchase on this thing for show. But this one here, this is my jam, okay? And highly
recommended. Again, I don't know what these things were selling for, but I'm gonna guess that they're in the neighborhood of $25-ish. And there's all your warnings, blah 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 blah. Don't cut your fingers off. Make sure that you don't throw these at your eyeballs. This knife is sharp. That's like, don't dump hot coffee in your crotch, you know, that kind of thing. Engineered by Milwaukee, professionally made in China. What do you expect? I've really had no issues with these things whatsoever. The biggest issue I have with these is that, truthfully, the clip here will get bent and then it'll fall out of my pocket, and when you're out doing things on the land, I have no idea where it fell out of my pocket. But if you had a pouch that this was secured in, you wouldn't have that problem. And also, if you just stay on top of the profile of the clip, you have a greatly reduced incidence of you losing your knife. So again, let's see that again. There it is. Lifetime warranty, limited lifetime warranty. But generally speaking, you can take this back into Home Depot and go, hey man, my thingy don't work. And they go, it's over there in aisle 10, get another one. So there you go. Check that out. Shalom.